Hey everyone, welcome to All Things Memoir, which is an outgrowth of the Memoir Nation podcast. I'm Grant Faulkner, co-host on that podcast, and this is Brooke Warner, my co-host.
Hello.
She can also talk naturally because we're on the podcast together. But today we're going to focus on a memoir that's very much in the news. It is Nobody's Girl by Virginia Giuffre. I bet you've already heard about it, but tell us a little bit about it, Brooke.
Yeah, I mean, this memoir is getting a ton of attention. Explosive revelations, of course, about Jeffrey Epstein and Maxwell and just all of the horrific stuff that was happening with, on their island and the grooming of girls and sex trafficking. And it's elicited so much attention, of course, because the Epstein files are a topic of cultural conversation. And also it's precipitated some movement in the culture.
Yeah, I mean, Prince Andrew's already stepped down. For whatever he relinquished
his
he's no
title.
longer Dukes. He's no longer honored. Thank God. He deserves it.
He does deserve it. I also think Giselle, who is still alive, deserves for people to see what a monster she is. So on that level, it's been revelatory. But I also kind of want to talk more broadly about public reckoning memoirs. I think is a really good way to frame this. And there's a couple of other ones that we have had on our radar. Carroll, who we are interviewing.
We're interviewing her this Friday.
Very soon, so that will be on our podcast. Know My Name by Chanel Miller was a huge one, and that was about the Stanford swimmer, the rape case that got so much attention. I'm excited isn't the right word, but there is this new book coming out by Giselle Pellicot, the French woman, who had the horrific experience of her husband bringing home men to rape her after she was drugged. That book is going to be coming out in February. So Grant, it just got me thinking about these explosive, horrific things that happen, and then the victims behind the stories who tell the stories. And I guess my question for you is, they make such a splash, but do you think they have any real impact or lasting change?
I just started reading Carroll's memoir. That's the type of memoir I usually don't read, kind of because of everything you just said. But I am engrossed by it. I'm compelled by it. I'm like, everybody should read this. We need to know more about this trial. We need to know more about what happened. And I think otherwise, you just kind of skim the headlines, And with Virginia Giuffre too, she's been around. We kind of know her story. But I bet if I read that memoir, I bet it's going to affect me so much more deeply in really great ways. So I like to think that our culture keeps moving because of these stories coming out, and that they'll inspire other people to write their story too.
That's, I think, the biggest thing for me. I think with the Giuffre memoir, there are so many people who are writing their stories of past abuse, things that they were subjected to. Sex trafficking in particular is a horrific crime. And for someone who is in such a high profile situation, but for whom, she didn't really have a voice, and this gives her a voice. And I think the title is interesting, Nobody's Girl. She belongs to no one. She had a horrific family upbringing with abuse from her own father. And these are the kinds of people who get preyed on, unfortunately. So I guess I feel moved that these stories do get the kind of attention that they get. And Grant, also, we thought it was interesting that her ghostwriter is left in this position to carry her story forward, since Giuffre herself committed suicide in April, which is such a sad outcome of all of this. But we did just want to touch upon the legacy of ghostwriters, I think, a bit.
Yeah, it's really heroic that she's out there being the spokesperson and telling this story, because it takes a lot of time, and she's really out there doing it. And, I can't help but wonder if Virginia Giuffre committed suicide somehow because of all that's happened to her,
There's no question in my mind that it was one of the triggers, and that she was burdened by her story and everything that happened to her, of course. And then, the conspiracy theorists are saying she could have been murdered because she knew who was in the Epstein files. So there's so much speculation around these kinds of things, and I don't know what to believe, but I am very, very happy that her story is out.
Yeah, and Amy Wallace has been a great spokesperson for it, so...
Yeah, so it's on our to-read list, and I know because I so loved Know My Name, which had an equally huge splash and really important, that these kinds of memoirs will have a lasting effect. And if you are writing a story like this, keep going. There is readership out there for you.
Yeah, and listen to Memoir Nation, the podcast, and we'll be back soon with another All Things Memoir.